It begins with a whisper, a lesson passed down through centuries. A secret that only the powerful have truly understood. The world is not ruled by kindness, nor by fairness, but by strategy. Power is an invisible force shaping rulers and kings, guiding the rise and fall of empires, deciding who will be remembered and who will be erased. Some grasp it with both hands and bend the world to their will. Others ignore it, believing that goodness alone will protect them. But history is not kind to the naive. Those who fail to understand power do not escape its grip, they merely become its victims. If you do not learn the laws that govern power, you will be at the mercy of those who have. And so, the first lesson emerges from the depths of time, its truth etched in the ruins of fallen men. Never outshine the master. There was once a man named Nicolas Fouquet, brilliant, ambitious, and eager to please. He served under King Louis XIV, the Sun King himself. Fouquet believed that power could be won through admiration, that dazzling the king would bring him favor. And so, he arranged a spectacle, an opulent feast that stunned the court. The finest wines, the grandest music, a night of extravagance never before seen in France. But power does not bow to brilliance. It is jealous, it is possessive, it does not tolerate threats. The next day, Fouquet was arrested. The king did not see a loyal servant. He saw a rising sun, one that could one day overshadow his own. Fouquet spent the rest of his life in a cold, forgotten cell, learning a lesson too late. Power is not about being the brightest light in the room. It is about knowing when to let others shine, and when to dim your own glow to survive. But survival is not enough. Power belongs to those who move unseen, who wear a mask so perfect that no one can see beyond it. Conceal your intentions. Centuries before, in the warring states of China, a man named Zhuge Liang understood this law better than most. When enemy forces approached his city, he did not panic. Instead, he sat upon the walls, playing a quiet melody on his flute. The enemy general, seeing no soldiers, no sign of defense, hesitated. It had to be a trick, a deadly trap. Fear and doubt crept into his mind. He turned his army around and retreated. But there was no trap, no hidden army, only Zhuge Liang and his unreadable silence. He had won without a fight, simply by controlling what the enemy believed. Those who reveal their true intentions make themselves vulnerable. A predictable man is a man who can be defeated before the battle even begins. But the great wielders of power do not work alone. They understand another truth. Let others do the work, but always take the credit. History remembers Thomas Edison as one of the greatest inventors of all time. The light bulb, electricity, industry itself seemed to bear his mark. But behind the name stood the hands of men like Nikola Tesla, minds that burned with innovation. Edison understood a simple, brutal truth. History does not honor the worker. It honors the name stamped upon the creation. He took the credit, built his empire, and secured his legacy. Tesla? He died in obscurity, a forgotten genius whose ideas reshaped the world, but whose name was lost to the shadows. Effort is invisible. Perception is everything. Power is not about who works the hardest, it is about who controls the story. And yet, even the most careful must understand the final rule of war. Crush your enemy completely. Julius Caesar knew this well. He left no rival standing, no enemy alive to plot in the dark. When you defeat an opponent, destroy them utterly, leave them nothing to rebuild, no seed of vengeance to take root. Napoleon ignored this law. He exiled his enemy, the King of France, to a distant island, believing him defeated. But an enemy left breathing is an enemy still waiting. The king returned, raised an army, and nearly ended Napoleon's reign. Mercy is a crack in the armor, and revenge will seep through it like poison. A war half won is a war waiting to be fought again. But power is not just about war. It is about presence, about how you are seen, about the image you craft. Act like a king to be treated like one. Napoleon did not wait for permission to take the throne. He did not kneel before the Pope and accept his crown with humility. He seized it, placed it upon his own head, and made a declaration to the world. Power is not given, it is taken. The way you carry yourself shapes the way others treat you. Those who act small will be seen as small. Those who walk with the confidence of rulers will be obeyed as if they were born to lead. A crown is not forged in gold. It is forged in the mind of those who look upon you. And yet, the final law of power whispers an ancient truth, one that even the greatest rulers sometimes forget. Be like water. Assume formlessness. A river does not fight the mountain. It does not shatter against the rocks. It bends, it flows, it reshapes the land over time. Those who cling too tightly to their identity, their plans, their way of thinking, those are the first to fall. The world shifts, power shifts, and those who cannot adapt are left behind. The unbending tree is the one that breaks in the storm. The chameleon is the one that survives in the jungle. The strongest warriors are not the ones who charge headfirst into battle, but the ones who disappear into the mist and reappear where they are least expected. Power is not about standing firm. It is about moving where you are needed, shifting shape when the moment demands it, and never allowing yourself to become a fixed target. Power is not good. It is not evil. It simply is. It does not reward the kind. It does not favor the strong. It flows toward those who understand its nature, toward those who see the strings that move the world and learn how to pull them. Some will use it to rule. Some will use it to defend. Some will use it simply to ensure they are never ruled again. The question is not whether these laws are right or wrong. The question is whether you will use them, or whether they will be used against you. Because the game of power never stops, and those who refuse to play are the first to be played. If you like this summary, consider subscribing to our channel. Your support gives us the motivation to keep creating more engaging content.